Hey, all right, welcome back to another episode of Raff's Brain, a show about things that are interesting to me. I am your host, Rob Raffety. We are in for a treat today, my friends. It is an episode of Walk and Talk. That's right, where Rob Raffety, your host, walks around and speaks off the cuff, stream of consciousness style, as I'm prone to do, as I get some steps in on a beautiful afternoon. It is beautiful out here on the weekend. It's shockingly warm, so I'm going to take the most advantage of this as possible. Let me hit up my watch. I've got to get the steps. If you don't track them, it doesn't count. Have we gone over this before? I hit the workout feature. I hit the Walking Man outdoor walk feature. 3, 2, 1, bungee. Yeah, I'm going to be walking around in my backyard for the next half hour or so, hanging out, because my buddy Conan, my dog, who you may know, is suffering from a cone of shame situation as he's recovering from a minor surgical procedure involving his paw. Really, it was more like a digit on his paw. As the doctor said, as the veterinarian said, I should say, a non-load bearing digit was problematic. That's probably the way to put it. Hey, buddy, let's go in this way. Hey, come here. I'm going to help you get inside. We're all going to be good to go. Come here. Not that way. When you have the cone of shame, you don't really know what's going on. Can you imagine what it's like to have that? Your whole life you go without it, and then suddenly you have to wear one. I don't know, man. Come here. We're going up this way. Out, this way. Come here. I'm going to help you out, bro. I'm going to help you out. We're going to make this happen. There we go. Oh, there we go. Let him inside. There you go. There you go. Get on there. Okay. Good times, my friends. Oh, goodness gracious. I just want to get some steps in. Why is that so difficult? I'm going to walk around my backyard and pontificate for the next 25 minutes or so. Thanks for joining me for that experience. I will do this around my neighborhood, but I will confess, I'm breaking the boundaries here. I'm getting a little outside the box. I went out and bought one of these newfangled selfie sticks. So for those of you who are listening on the Raff's Brain podcast, just be aware that there's a whole YouTube channel that's corresponding to all of my episodes, and it's set up there, youtube.com/@Rob Raffety, I think is the address. We got to look that up. I'll drop it in the show notes. The bottom line is there's an audio and a video component to this show. Not every episode, granted, but some of them. And historically, the Walk and Talk episodes have been exclusively audio. I just plug in the headphones and I riff as I'm walking. But I got kind of inspired the other day. I saw there's this growing trend of influencers and content creators who just hold a camera up and walk around and talk. I was like, I could do that. I don't know if I can do that in public. I'm in my backyard. I feel weird about it. Like, are my neighbors over there thinking I'm a crackhead stumbling around in my backyard? I don't know what's going on, but I want to give it a shot. I'm going to start testing it out. So for those of you who are listening to Raff's Brain, if you go to YouTube and look me up, you could watch this episode. You don't have to listen to it. You could watch it. Now, what's the difference? There's no difference. The video is not going to be that compelling. The video is just me walking around in my backyard. Because I've yet to develop the courage to do this in public. But eventually I'm gonna stretch my wings. I'm gonna get out. And here's my thinking. as I've been refining my approach to Raff's brain, I'm contemplating the walk and talk as something that could be kind of ritualistic. Maybe it's every Sunday, I got to get out, stretch my legs, record my thoughts. The question is, like, let's say I'm going to go walk around my neighborhood. Am I going to have this selfie stick out? Am I going to be that guy? Am I going to be that tool in your neighborhood who's walking around self-absorbed, narcissistic? I don't know, man. What's the whole point of this? Well, I don't know. We're going to explore it. We're going to try it. We're going to give it a shot. But I want to talk about a couple things today on my mind. Just kind of, again, stream of consciousness that's coming to me is in real time. No filter. No real advanced forethought, to be quite honest with you. I think there's like 3 categories of content I want to discuss here. The first is pets and animals, their influence on us. And that was somewhat informed by this interaction I just had. I was like, another reason I'm walking around in my backyard, other than my fear of walking around in public with a selfie stick, is that my dog, Conan, as you can see, is recovering from a minor surgical procedure, so I don't want to leave him alone or go too far away in the event that he needs my help. And that got me thinking about the whole notion of pets and our psychological connection to them, our appreciation and value in them, and that sort of thing. So let's talk about that broadly. Then we're going to talk about maybe my journey in crypto. Very brief top line. For those of you who haven't heard, Bitcoin just broached, or was it breached? No, it just hit 2,000. I'm trying to sound sophisticated here. It breached the $100,000 mark, and that's been going up and down. I think it might even be a little bit below it today, but the bottom line is this is a remarkable technology. It's extraordinary as an investment vehicle. I want to tell you a little bit about how I got into Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, my passion for the consumer blockchain, which could be, if I'm not careful, I could ramble for hours about this stuff, but I'll try not to do that. I'll just top line here today's episode, and then we'll come back and hit that up in the future. And then finally, let's close it out with sports. That's a large topic. It's not something I typically get involved in on this podcast, but there's some things happening in the world that have caused me to want to just ramble a little bit, share with you where my brain is at on the issue of sports, in particular college sports. And then we'll do a little review of my professional sporting allegiances that I think are, in a little bit of trouble, frankly. All right, so we're going to start off with the dogs, the pets. Listen, folks, I'm going to be the first to tell you that my dog isn't the best dog in the world. He's incredible. He's better than your dog. He's better than your children, probably. Conan is extraordinary. Of course, I'm joking. I want to dispel this myth. As a very dedicated pet owner, I want to dispel the myth that any pet owner can connect at any level close to or approaching that of what a parent and a child have as a relationship. There's a lot out there these days that sort of suggests that, oh yeah, pets are a substitute for children. What are you talking about? Who is propagating this nonsense? Pets are great. You can have a deep and abiding emotional connection with them, but they're not human beings, man. They're pets. And as much as I love my dog Conan, and I do very deeply, he's a wonderful dog. I've gone through a lot of experiences with him. When he passes away, as he will, sadly, before me, most likely, I'm going to roll him up in a organic blanket and dig a ditch in my backyard and chuck him in here with some other former pets, you don't do that with a human being. So don't pretend that a dog is on any level the same as a child. It's absurd. So I just want to come down and crack down on all the mentality. Now I get it. I think there is an interesting, I don't know if it's kind of been a gradual or steady progression. The level of deference to pets, and dogs in particular. Cats don't quite get as much love, it seems. Sometimes I wonder about that discriminatory effect. I'm a fan of both dogs and cats, but dogs seem to be really the ones that are just, they're almost too well respected in society. I know in Northern Virginia, you could take a dog just about anywhere, literally, into restaurants, into the restroom. I've seen little dogs running around everywhere. What's going on with this? When was that acceptable? There used to be this sign outside of McDonald's: no shirt, no shoes, no service. There was also, like, below that asterisk, no pets. No pets, unless you have a guide dog. It's a service dog. Service dogs should be given access to everything that humans get access to, because they're serving a human in a very important capacity. But this idea that just anybody has a pet, let's take him into a 5-star restaurant and I'm going to put him on my lap while I'm going to hit up a, Coco Vaughn and a gin martini on the what are you talking about? Why would you do that? Why does that seem acceptable on any level? I don't know. It's not my thing. So as much as I love dogs, as much as I love my dog, as much as I just cracked the bank to get this dude's little pinky toe removed, yes, it was completely torn off. He had a tumor on it. It was gross. If you hit up my Twitter channel or my Instagram, I don't know, one or the other, you can see photographs of this. It's very disgusting and gross. This dude had a little tumor. It just kept growing and growing. It was really painful. He was licking it all day. So the vet said, let's just take off that digit. So they put him asleep. There's like a freaking anesthesiologist for pets. The pet anesthesiologist. They knocked him out. They took off his toe. They stitched him up. And now he's got the cone of shame and a bandage on his foot that he's got to wear for like 2 weeks without disruption. And here's the thing. I have to put that cone of shame on, and we have to be very disciplined to prevent him from infecting the site of the surgery. So it's not easy, man. It's unpleasant. Imagine, it's almost like it's probably like the human equivalent of a straitjacket, right? Like, have you ever been in a straitjacket? It's very, very uncomfortable. Anyway, I can sense he hates the cone of shame. It does a pretty good job of preventing him from licking his paw, but it also prevents him from basic movement around the house. He's banging his head and everything. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, what's the whole point of all that? I don't know. Just letting you know that Conan is 14. He just had his pinky toe removed. He's going to recover. He seems to be in good spirits. But I got to just accept the fact that he's on the downward side of his existence, right? I mean, that's the reality. I think the human equivalent of 14 years for a dog of his stature is something like 85 years old. He's already really outlived the expectation. So every day is a gift. And when the time comes, it'll be a very sad day. But I want to also mention, and so this is more of a teaser as we segue to the next topic. There's going to be another furry friend arriving to the Raffety household in the near future, and I'm going to be talking about this on Raff's Brain, maybe at a much deeper level, because there's a lot of background and context that goes into this particular acquisition. Yes, over the coming winter holiday, I'm going to visit my father back in rural West Virginia. And when we return to North Arlington, Virginia, we're going to have in our possession another four-legged friend. Actually, this is not a four-legged friend. I don't want to give away all the secrets, but there's a unique story here. It's a three-legged friend. I'm not lying. It's a three-legged friend. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to plant this seed. We're going to sow it later. We're going to cultivate that teaser in a future episode. So stay tuned, because this is a pretty good story, frankly. If it pans out, I think it's going to work out. Just getting the steps in. What's next? Oh, crypto. Listen, man, unless you're under a rock, you don't know. $100K. That's a threshold. That's an exciting development. Bitcoin just busted through it, man. Now it's been going back and forth. Like it got as high as like 103, 104K. Now it's down around like 99 or 101. It kind of bounces around. Folks, this asset, it was like in the 40s not that long ago. So it's been moving. It's been grooving. And I'm someone who is a fan and a minor investor in these things. And I got to tell you, it's been quite a journey. So to hit that 100K threshold, it seemed like it merited a little bit of discussion on Raff's Brain Walk and Talk, because it's on my mind. The future of these assets could be stellar. There are some folks that are saying, like, we're on the road to 250 in the next 6 months, maybe 1 million per Bitcoin in the next 5 years. That's transformative. Now, I don't have enough of them, sadly, to pretend that it's going to change my life, but it's a cool thing to have gotten in early on that technology. I'm very fortunate. Let me give you my quick overview. Maybe I'll do a whole episode on this sometime, because it's just a long and winding tale. But the bottom line is, back in the day, 2010, 2011, that's back when the Bitcoin white paper came out. I was aware of it. Here's the sad part. This is what I regret. Why didn't I go big from the start? I worked with people that were into it. I worked with scholars that were really pioneers in that space. There were a handful of colleagues of mine from the Mercatus Center back in the day that were all into cryptocurrencies way before it was even mainstream. I mean, this was like early days. And man, the funny thing is none of them got in all into it either. Otherwise, they'd all be living on a private island somewhere. If you think about this, the earliest price of this stuff back in the day, 2011, 2012, 2013, we're talking like pennies or dollars. Now it's 100,000. If you had invested like $1,000 in Bitcoin back in 2012, forget it. You're set. You're done. Right? So nobody really went all in like that. Or maybe no one I knew anyway. But I do credit them for introducing me to this technology. And I'm fortunate that I started to invest around 2017. They finally twisted my arm. I had heard about it for many years. And then finally one day I just broke down after enough harassment from my colleagues. They're like, you got to get on this, Raff. Okay, sure. Just chuck $1,000 into it or whatever. Just do what you can. Just get them to shut up. At one point, I probably had double-digit Bitcoin in my possession. This is a long time ago, folks. Nothing like I have now, I promise you. And I was impressed with it. I remember specifically in 2017, 2018, there was a bull run, and the value of my assets was astronomical relative to the investment that I had made. And so much so that it just really blew my mind. I didn't know what to do with it. I couldn't process this 10x type of return that had just manifested within, say, 6-8 months. It made no sense to me. And of course, greed takes over and you think it's going to go up forever. Well, maybe it's just getting started. Another 6, 7, 10, 20x is in order, and then your life is completely different. So I sat on all those profits. I didn't do anything. And then I watched it all crash and crumble back down. It was fascinating. It was a wild ride. And at the time, I set up on my Coinbase account a monthly buy for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin, small incremental amounts. Very small, frankly. $25, $50 here and there. And it was all auto pay, so it just happened. It was automatically deducted from my account every month. The cool part was, I kind of forgot that I did that. I would get these emails every month. You just purchased $25 of Litecoin. Why, man? I forgot. I was angry with myself. I would go, I got to turn that thing off. This is when it was in the bear market. It was all in the gutter, and I didn't think there was any future to it. So this is happening for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin, BAT. what else did I was picking up like really small nuggets for years, for several years, 2 to 3 years during a bear market of 2018 to 2020. And over that time frame, I didn't really appreciate that I was acquiring things that would become more valuable. I woke up one day in 2021 and it's like, whoa, this stuff is actually starting to get some value to it. That's kind of fascinating. What do I own? What have I actually been purchasing here over the past few years? And the real catalyst to getting much more connected with this technology, just to understand what it was that I was buying, because I had no clue previously, was a gentleman by the name of Gary Vaynerchuk, aka Gary V, who was launching a NFT project in the spring of 21. And he said, hey everybody, I need you to buy some Ethereum and get a MetaMask wallet, and you could jump into my NFT club. And I really didn't know what this guy was talking about. I didn't quite understand it, but I knew that I owned Ethereum and I had a sufficient amount, not a ton, but enough that I could use it to acquire some of this gentleman's NFTs. I kind of liked his vibe, what he was about, his message. So that's how I jumped in, and that was bananas. Got into his VFriends NFT, and then because this was still work from home era, people were just popping off. Who knew how it was going on? No one knew what was going on in the world. I reconnected with some college friends, aka the Bi guys, some of my fraternity brothers from the back in the day, and we started having fun with it and doing little micro bets on different, altcoins, as they say. Anyway, it's been a pretty fun journey. And like anyone who's in crypto, if you talk to anybody who's in this asset class at all, they're probably going to say, I wish I'd put more in. You always want more. You can't get enough. So yeah, obviously it would have been awesome if I had put tens of thousands of dollars back in 2018, 2019 in the depths of the bear market. Of course I didn't. I was just doing the little micro investments, $100, $50, $25, cups of coffee added up. But basically, and that's nice and that's wonderful, and I do not regret it for one iota of a second. I'm very, very happy about the current situation, but let's just say I need like a 20 or 30x to achieve life-changing status. And I don't think that's going to happen because it's just gone up a lot over the past couple months. And the downside is the concern that I have, which I think is very real for many kind of smaller investors like myself, is knowing when to quit or when to pull out, when to take profits. I'm already up, okay? I'm playing with house money, as they might say. But when do you know when to pull out? And what are the tax implications? I've held these things for more than a year, so it should just be counted as long-term capital gains, 15%, maybe 20%. I don't know. I got to figure that out. It's fascinating stuff. But I'm going to keep investing in it just a little bit here and there when time permits. My goal for 2024, 25 really, probably by June or July, certainly by the early fall, I want to be out of all these altcoins. I got so twisted up in ridiculous altcoins. I don't even know what these things do. I could rattle off acronyms to you for days. VET, XRP, XLM, AMP. Come on. What the hell am I investing in? It doesn't matter. Some of them are doing terrible. Some of them are doing great. When it'll all wash out, I think in the next 5 to 10 months, things could get really exciting. But I got to get out of these altcoins. I don't even know what they do. I have no idea what they're good for. Algo, what is that? ALGO, I don't even know what it is. I put a little bit in there. It's pretty low. I'm down in most of those altcoins. But they're coming back. And I think they're going to come back and do like a 10x. Then I'm going to take it all out. I'm going to transfer it over to Bitcoin for the long term. Am I going to do that? I don't know what I'm going to do. First world problems, man. If anyone out there is into crypto, has any suggestions, how do you like scale out of this stuff? I don't have enough to really get excited about it. I'm not going to like quit my job and start a whole new life, buy an island or whatever. It's not that level. It's just fun to play around with. And I wonder how you get out of it strategically, So that's where I am at the moment. I'm doing well. I've got some good performers. I'm happy with Bitcoin. I don't think Bitcoin's going to zero. I think it's arrived. Like, this is an institutional asset. There are so many different big players that are involved right now. I've got to believe that it's here for the long haul. It might fluctuate in price dramatically. I could see it going up and then going down and cratering, and you just got to think long term. Dude, if this becomes like a reserve currency of some kind, it's like, come on, gobble it up while you can. But it's very high risk. So it's not like I put much in there. It's all very, I guess I would put it in the category of, if I had extra money to light on fire, I invested in crypto instead. That's the plan. All right. Finally, sports, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, Raff, brainiacs across the land. It's an interesting time of year, isn't it? I want to first talk briefly about the college sports football in particular. I'm on a text group with old college buddies, and they're deep into this stuff. We got a dude who loves Notre Dame. We got a dude who loves Pitt. We got a dude who loves Oregon. It's a very interesting collection of opinions. And I like to toss in a bomb here, like lob in a grenade and throw in an idea. But I can't pretend to know what I'm talking about. I don't watch college sports that much. I certainly don't watch college football. I've got other things to do. I got bigger fish to fry, man. I'm a busy guy. I'm a Syracuse guy. We had 20 years of irrelevance, basically, in football until this year, man. Fran Brown bringing it back. We smoked Miami in our last game of the season. That was huge. At the Dome, baby. Dome, sweet Dome. Are you kidding? So I could definitely find myself getting back into college football if Syracuse returns to the glory days. But even then, I got to say, the whole vibe of college football is so different than when I was growing up. I just can't say that I'm a fan as much. It seems like almost like it's minor league, National Football League, right? Like, we have free agents. We have kids that are like 1 year commits, one and done. Like, what is going on? How is that possible? We have kids that are like on TikTok making $1 million because NCAA lets them make this money, then name, image, and likeness, NIL. And I'm not against this. I actually think it's fascinating that these sports programs at universities make so much money. The kids benefit, of course, by getting a free education and a lot of support and infrastructure there so they succeed as a student athlete. And for most sports, that's fine, but some of the bigger ones, like, clearly, I mean, the kids themselves will say they don't see themselves as students. They are athletes, right? I think there's a player at Colorado. Someone asked him, like, so, are you looking forward to the spring semester? What classes are you going to take? He just kind of laughed it off. Dude, I'm going to the league. What are you talking about? Classes? I'm not taking classes. So it just kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth when I hear things like that. So I don't know, man. If you could do it all over, think about it. If you could just like start from scratch in terms of, let's just go with football. As a professional enterprise, how might you set up or structure the talent pipelines that feed the NFL? I think, this is again just Raff here, Rob Raffety, Raff's brain, talking freewheeling here. And I'm open to challenge and pushback because I'm not super well educated in this. But wouldn't it be preferable to have like a semi-pro or kind of like a minor league for football versus the college student athlete system, which seems to be a little corrupted at the moment, in my opinion. And again, it's just perspective. Maybe we should be paying people to play football as part of a on-ramp to professional athletics at an earlier age, you know. Towns across, almost like the way they do soccer in Europe. Every town has a club. They might be A, double A, triple A. That's the baseball version. I don't know what they call these things. Minor leagues, major leagues. Bottom line, I just don't see how college is the best path for talent cultivation, in a sense that the student athletes are more like athlete students in some cases, or just athletes, and the student part is really just a facade. So I don't like that. Just rubbed me the wrong way. It's me. I'm going to say it what it is, man. It's how I feel about it. So I'd like to see the NFL invest in a kind of minor league system, the way that baseball does, the way that the NBA is kind of doing it, although they still have an issue with, like, you know, basketball players. There's something about the NFL. Isn't the NBA have like a one and done thing? Like, you got to play at least 1 year of college. I remember that. Like Carmelo Anthony. I'm a Cuse guy. Super talented. Good for him. You know, comes in, wins a national championship with Boeheim in 2003. It's huge. It's amazing. And he's got a legacy there, but he bounces out to the league immediately, as he should. That's where he's going to accrue the greatest reward for his talents. I don't know, man. It's just, now that there's this rule, like, oh, every NBA prospect has to play at least 1 year in college. Am I wrong about this? Am I crazy? Is this a thing? Someone hit me up. Tell me if I'm wrong. I thought I saw that somewhere. And it's like, that's great. If you can get the 5 best students around the country for 1 year, you could have a great program. But is that, like, in keeping with this idea of the student athlete? Think about, like, where that even comes from. Why are we even doing athletics at college? Probably because we think about educating the mind and the body and the spirit and the soul. It's all part of this holistic approach to, self-improvement. I'm making that up. That might be false, but that's kind of my old school perspective on what is education all about. It's about learning in the classroom, challenge yourself out there on the athletic field, and I don't know. I don't know where it's all going, friends. But I wanted to throw it out there. And then I'll say real quickly, just as a passing nod, because who knows how long I get to talk about this. My pro sports affiliations, there's a lot of variation there, but generally the black and gold of Pittsburgh is looking pretty good. Well, technically we look good. On paper we look good. We just beat the Browns today. That's encouraging. Little vengeance for that Thursday night game a few weeks ago where they just upset us. That was embarrassing. But let's be honest. Do we think the Steelers, as good as they are, as capable as they are, have within them the power to beat the elite AFC teams like the Bills, like the Kansas City Chiefs? I just don't see it. I hope that Coach Tomlin can prove me wrong. The guy's an incredible coach, clearly. Never had a losing season. What a remarkable accomplishment. Kudos, hats off, Coach T. But I just think the playoffs is more important, right? So I wouldn't mind having a couple lousy years because you can get some better draft picks, you can restock with the talent, and then you can really make a run. I don't know how I feel about just being above average in the regular season and then not really making any damage in the playoffs. That's just my own take. So we'll see where it goes this year. I should be honest. I was very down on the Steelers before the season started. We're going to have a losing season. It's over. It's going to be bad. So they've proved me wrong. So if they can continue to prove me wrong, maybe it'll be amazing. And if that happens, hats off. I will be the first to tell you that I was wrong. But as it stands, the facts, as I see them, as I process them as a fan of this team, I'm just not confident that we're going to make it too far. It'd be nice to win a game. Let's just put it that way. We haven't won a playoff game in, 8 years or something? 7 years? It's been pretty brutal. Meanwhile, the Penguins had a rough start to the year. They're kind of putting it together. They won the last 4 or 5, most notably smashing the Toronto Maple Loafs at PNC Arena or whatever it's called. I don't even know the names of these arenas anymore. They keep changing the names. The Igloo. That's what I would prefer to call it. That's exciting, but I think it's a facade. I don't think it's real. It's an illusion. We're too old. So I love the coach in a sense. I love the tradition. I'm a fan. I'm big time. Actually, of all the sports, ice hockey's my favorite for sure. But I'm not optimistic we're going to have what it takes to scratch and claw our way back into the playoff scene. We shall see. We shall see. And then finally, the Pittsburgh Pirates. I think actually, if you look at the talent just on paper, this team has all that it takes to be a wild card contender and really kind of sneak in and do some very interesting things. The one drawback is our bats, man. We can't hit. We are lousy. And if they would just invest a little bit of money, just a little bit of money in some bats for this team, I think we could do some damage, bro. The pitchers are solid. We got a good starting five, maybe the best starting five in the entire. I want to say we're a top 5 rotation. The bullpen was pretty solid last year. Everything's good on the pitching front. I like that. Bats are struggling. And if you can't, I can't tell you how many times I was watching the Pirates last year and you'd see player after player come to the plate with 240 batting average. Are you kidding me? Come on, do better. So hopefully they'll throw some money out there. We'll see. What do we got here? It's about, what time is it? 4:42. My watch died. It only tells me the time, but then there's a big red light on it. So I've lost track of my steps. I'm very upset about this. I've been talking for 37 minutes. I've been walking, but I don't know how far. What good is that? Conan's out here at least. What's up, bro? He made it back. He's making a reappearance. He's I don't know what the heck he's doing. He's getting back in the plants and stuff. Anyway, I think I probably walked at least a mile, right? Let's just go with that. Mile and a half for over half an hour. That's a good thing to do every Sunday. Get you out, stretch your legs, that's what I'm going to be up to. So let's keep this going. Let's do these Sundays, walk and talk. Someday I'll get courage to walk around my neighborhood and have all my neighbors look at me like I'm a psychopath with the selfie stick. But in the meantime, I might just keep doing it around my backyard, get more comfortable with the approach. It's very informal, as you can tell. It's very chill. That's by design. I have a sense that there's going to be a lot more of this style and type of content coming out. People just talking about their lives, putting it out, content creators and that sort of thing. So I wanted to jump on that bandwagon a little bit and see where it goes. Let's keep it up. Let's do this for the next couple of months. Every Sunday, let's get together and do a little riff-raff, walk and talk for the Raff's Brain podcast, all right? Thanks for being here, folks. I really appreciate it. If you have anything you want me to talk about, you have questions, concerns, reactions, hit me up. I'm game. Check out the show notes. I actually have a Google phone number set up. You could call and leave a message. I might even put your voicemail on this show. But in the absence of that, you could also just drop a comment or shoot me an email or whatever. You know how to get to me. All right, folks. Thanks so much for joining me. It's been great. Talk to you next time.